As you just saw through a collection of photographs, you saw me sewing the quilt pieces together, the dedication quilt pieces together. This was very difficult, to say the least. I challenge you to go to the store and pick up a king-size white bed sheet and take a look at the corners, at the edges, the seams, how they're sewn together. Now take 4 of those, because I was sewing 4 pieces, 4 different individual dedication quilt pieces together. So take all 4 of those and intertwine them together, and then just try to visualize how much strength and how difficult it may be to get a 4-inch needle and yarn through 4 king-size white bed sheets. Because if you notice on the edges, they're folded over and hemmed for their own seams. So in essence, I've got like 8 king-size white bed sheets, or at least the thickness thereof. It was very difficult, much more difficult than I had thought, more difficult than anyone had thought. We actually thought it would be quite easy, but we were going to, one of our ideas was to have grandmother clubs and have the students help sew them together, and that just didn't work. Poor Dominique, she tried and tried, but she just couldn't. You saw one of the photos of her sitting there smiling. She couldn't. She didn't have enough strength in her arms, in her wrists, to push the 4-inch needle through the quilt pieces, the sheets. She just didn't have the power. And you need to understand something as well. Once you get the needle through, that's just the beginning, because you got to pull it hard to get the knot of the yarn through. So when you start pulling and tugging on it with some strength, 3-4 times out of 10 times, it would break. The thread would break. Or not the thread, the yarn would break. So it took many, many long hours. It took hundreds of hours, if not thousands of hours, for me to do the sewing. It was all done by hand, and it was just, it was incredible. It was an incredible effort, and it was something that I never thought would be like that. But now that it's done, as far as that one quilt block piece that you saw in the photo, it was an experience. And to continue to do the rest will be very difficult, because it's going to take strong individuals to do it. Your fingers get numb, your biceps get sore, because you're struggling with it the entire time. And that's why when I was doing it, I took and I would go through and I would do it every 3 or 4 inches, because you just couldn't do it any closer together, because it would take literally years to sew them together. And it was just incredible. And again, yes, I volunteered all my time to do this. On the weekends, during ball games, whether it be basketball, football, I sat in front of the TV, sat on the couch, sat there listening to music, just sat there in deep thought and just concentrating and focusing on what I was doing. It was just a very difficult task at hand, but it was well worth it, because the victims deserve no less.